Hi. It's been quite a time. Quite a time, honestly. It's been a crazy couple of weeks, couple of days, honestly. I was sick last week, and then last night we had these crazy storms going through Tennessee, and I ended up on my bathroom floor from like 2 a.m. until like 6 o'clock this morning. So I'm not all here, but I am here, you know? We're here today to wrap up March because apparently it's fucking April and my birthday is next month, and that means I'm less than a month away from turning 30. So I read 12 books this month, which I feel like is pretty on par for the course. That's what I did last month. That's just where we're staying, averaging at about 4,600 pages per month right now. So that's something. I spent most of March having a breakdown because I was in the middle of a project, and the project has been driving me insane. I had one goal for the month of March. There was a new release that came out in February that I needed to get to. It was for a series, but in order to get to the new release, I had to do the reread to get there, to remember what was happening. And I think I lost my marbles somewhere along the way. I don't have them anymore. They're gone. The book I am talking about is The Dark Mirror by Samantha Shannon. This is book 5 in the Bone Season series. Maybe you've heard me talk about it. Maybe you've seen me post some videos about it. I don't know. This is insane. Book 4 came out 4 years ago, and it left us on a massive cliffhanger. And I've yelled about this. That book, The Mask Falling, is my second most liked review on Goodreads. Not because it's a good review, but because it's a crazy review. It's just me screaming. All of that to say, The Dark Mirror came out at the end of February, and because that was happening, I really wanted to do a whole series reread so that I would be all set on theories, so I would know what was going on. So I took a lot of notes, and I highlighted a bunch of things. And also, on top of all of that, I vlogged the whole fucking thing.
Oh my god.
I'm terrified.
I forgot that she's just so stupid.
Oh my god. Guys. We've got to be so over to be so back. We have got to be so over to be so back. 5 books. It took me weeks. I still haven't finished editing the footage because I took way too many videos. If you don't know, The Bone Season is a dystopian series. The first book came out in 2013. We are on book 5. Do the math. It's a long, long series. We still have 2 more books to go. What did I think about this new installment? It's not my favorite book of the year. It's not my favorite book of the series. That said, it is a very satisfying book 5 in the series. There's a lot that plays out in here that tortured me, that made me feel terrible, that gave me a lot of questions. But there's equally as many things that were really good. To the point that like I will pull up this ebook on my phone at times and just like reread certain chapters because things happened and I can't let it go. This is crazy. I wish more people would read this series. I actually am planning on making like a serious recommendations video for it because I think people are sleeping on it, and it is so good and is one of my all-time favorite series. But that said, I did lose my marbles. I have lost my mind, and it's good that I finished because I can't think about that series anytime soon. Whew, makes me too crazy. While I was doing that, I was also listening to a bunch of nonfiction audiobooks. I listen to nonfiction books while I'm working, so that's how I get through them. The first one I read is called Hijab Butch Blues by Lamia H. This is a queer memoir, and it is all about I think they're non-binary, but she's a lesbian, and she's also Muslim, and so they really talk a lot about their sexuality and their experience being an immigrant, and also religion. So it does talk a lot about the Quran, and it was just such a compelling read. I love the narration. I love the writing. I love the content. There's a lot about it that I just really related to, honestly. And I feel like I learned a lot. So it was just all around a great read. Highly recommend. Perfect memoir, honestly. The next book that I read, it started a journey, and I'm not done with the journey. I have a long way to go on the journey, but I did need to get the gears moving. So it's called Gender Magic by Ray McDaniel, and it's a really interesting book that I'm honestly kind of shocked that nobody else has done before, because it's kind of like a how-to guide on gender and queerness, and like how to learn about gender, how to think about gender, how to deal with other people's genders. And I just thought it was a wonderful like toolbox. It has a lot of exercises in the book. It has a lot of things to consider and to think about yourself, but also others. And I feel like I not only like learned a lot, but I also thought about a lot of things that I'd never considered before. And so even though I came out of it, I think with more questions than answers, it was just really, really formative to me personally. And I wish more people would read it because I think it answers a lot of really interesting questions. The next one I picked up is technically my translation book for the month. You will find out just now, I have not finished War and Peace. Who's surprised? Here's the thing. I'm almost at page 300. I kind of had to put it on pause because I was in the middle of the bone season and I needed to focus my physical reading on The Dark Mirror. So I haven't finished War and Peace. War and Peace is on my list. I will finish it at some point this year. It's just a question of when. But because I hadn't finished War and Peace, I did want a book to count for this month as a translation book. And so I was at Barnes & Noble the other day. I was doing some window shopping, trying to like find new books that I hadn't heard of. And I ended up finding this book. It's written by this author who I know has written books in other languages. And so when I picked it up, I was like, oh, I know this person. I haven't read her books, but like she's on my list. So what is this book? And it is a nonfiction collection of essays. And most of these essays are like introductions that she wrote for other books that she either wrote or translated. So it's an interesting collection that I feel like is very unique. And the whole point of the collection is translation and language. And so it's called Translating Myself and Others by Jhumpa Lahiri. And I doubt that I said that right, but I did my best. This one is interesting. She's such an interesting person because she grew up, I think, speaking Bengali and learned English. And then when she was in her 40s, for no apparent reason, decided to speak Italian. So she learned Italian. She became fluent in Italian to the extent that she writes books in Italian herself. And she also translates other people's books from Italian into English. And overall, just a very interesting person. I really would like to read any of her fiction books. But she just... something about this book is so compelling to me because it does talk about language, like language, like Italian as a language and English as a language, but also like the language that you use when you're writing and translating. And it gave me so much to consider going forward with books that are translated and also just like language in general. And so I was really compelled by it. I listened to the audiobook and it was really phenomenal. And I think more people should pick it up. Underrated and so good and definitely one of my favorites of the year. So, after I finished reading The Dark Mirror, like literally the day that I finished The Dark Mirror, or maybe the day after, I ended up getting a cold. And it wasn't COVID, thank God, but I did get a pretty serious head cold that I stayed home from work for a couple days. And I kind of felt like my body was expelling the 4 years of demonic energy that I've had since finishing The Mask Falling. Like all of that energy that I spent on the bone season was just cooped up in my sinuses and it all came out. Since I was being exercised, I was like, cool, like I'm sick. I will do some reading because apparently I am not in a TV mood right now. I couldn't find any TV that I was really excited about watching, even though I have like 10 shows on my watch list right now. Anyway, I read like 3 or 4 books in this series back to back because I was at home sick and I finally finished it. And I will be making another video about it. Don't worry. I know you guys want to hear me yap, but I finally finished Heaven Officials Blessing and it's crazy. I had started volume 6 at the end of February because I was so excited. And then I hit the 5th arc, the White Clothes Calamity arc, and I got scared. And so I put it off for like a month and I was like, I'm not going to touch that yet. I'm not ready for it. Which is probably for the best because the last arc is pretty insane. Like it starts with flashbacks and then it comes back to the present and like crazy things start happening. And overall, it just was an insane ending. A crazy ending, honestly. But the reason why I really had such a fun time with it is at the end of volume 8, spoiler alert, half of this is the actual story and the other half is just like a bunch of bonus content. And so it's just like a couple of fun short stories about our main couple. And I had so much fun. Like one of them is just like an amnesia thing. Like Shi Lian wakes up with amnesia and we just have to watch that happen. And it's so cute. I miss them. So I finally did the thing and finished this crazy Danme series. And then when I was done with it, I was like, wow, that's so sad. Like I can't read any more of that. Oh, wait, there's a bajillion series under the Chinese Danme genre. And so kind of on a whim, actually, I picked up the first book in a new Danme series that I have not heard of before. And I didn't know anything about it. And so I wasn't sure if it was going to be my vibe. And I have to be honest, I might like it more than I like Tiangwan I love Hualien. They're my favorite. I love them so much. But Heaven Official's Blessing is kind of like Friends to Lovers ish, kind of. However, the one that I started is like an insane enemies to lovers thing with past lives and like a teacher-student relationship and reincarnation, and yeah, it's pretty insane. The one that I started is called The Husky and His White Cat, Shizun. I haven't looked up the pronunciation for this new series yet, so I can't really speak too much to the pronunciation. But it's by Meat Bun Doesn't Eat Meat, and this is my first series by Meat Bun Doesn't Eat Meat, and so I feel like I'm still learning a lot. It's like I know enough about the Danme genre now because I've read one full series, but I'm still learning so much about Chinese Danme and about all of the like big authors in that genre. And so it's like, I feel like a whole new world has opened up, and therefore my hyperfixation off the charts. It's crazy. It's just scratching an itch that I had no idea I even had. So thanks to my therapist for ruining my life, and thanks to all of you lovely people who are also ruining my life. If you want to know what this one is about, the premise is pretty insane. There's this emperor, he's evil, he's killed a bunch of people, and he ended up essentially like capturing his teacher and torturing him and forcing him into bed with him, killing him, and then at the end of all that, Emperor kills himself, becomes reincarnated as his younger self at 16, and so he essentially gets to like relive his life starting at 16 in his 16-year-old body, but with the consciousness of his 32-year-old self. And when he goes back in time in this new timeline, supposedly, his teacher is there, and so he's trying to figure out if he hates his teacher or if he maybe possibly is in love with his teacher. All of this is crazy because he also had a love who he thought he loved who wasn't his teacher, and so it's like there's like a love triangle, past lives, reincarnation, enemies to lovers. Like, it's bonkers, and it is way more mature. It's way more mature than Heaven Official's Blessing, way more sexually explicit, way more gray area, moral ambiguity, like a lot of questionable content, but it's so perfect if you like Captive Prince, if you like anything C.S. Pacat, really, like Dark Air, Dark Rise, etc. It is scratching the itch that I have been trying to hit after reading Captive Prince, and I'm shocked. Like, I shouldn't be so surprised, but I am a little bit shocked at how good it is. Just because I wasn't expecting it. And it's such a crazy setup. And I want to know what happens. And I'm only 3 volumes in. So anyway, that's where we're at. The marbles are gone. I lost my marbles a long time ago, going crazy, losing my mind. And I still haven't finished editing the Bone Season vlogs, so I have all of that to do. And on top of all of that, I'm turning 30 in less than a month. I don't know what's going on, but the vibes are insane over here, you guys. Who knows what this next month will hold? I have a very long TBR. I have so many things that I'm interested in reading. I just want to read about Moran and Chuwaning. So anyway, thank you for watching whatever the hell this was. I don't know what's going on with me, but we're here, and that's all that matters, really. Okay, great. Thanks. Bye.